me ha hecho ver.
Pues ya no la vas a ver.
Sí, no,
Que
ya sé,
descanses,
Pascal.
sax,
All right, so we're switching over on English production.
switching up.
So we're switching over on English. Saludos para México, con carnalita. Beso, mi amor. Ahí está. ¿Sí? Venga, ¿se huele bien? All right.
Cheers to everyone, diseases.
Okay, so well, hi everybody, welcome to La Casa del Rock en Español, mi barra, here in Chula Vista, San Diego. This is the 1073 3rd Street, La Casa del Rock en Español. Today we're going to have this special guest, one of my really good friends, Camaroncito. This is Marco Cortez. He is the Mezcal Specialist from Casa, Amaras. Okay, so we have a beautiful song for introduction, so let's cut off the music. But
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Before we do that, I hope production is okay. I really want to give a tour to all of you guys where we are actually sitting down, and I hope you guys don't mind, but you gotta check this out. This place is absolutely amazing, and one of the coolest things is this is the sanctuary of the rock en español, and it's here in the heart of Chula Vista in San Diego. So I used to work with these cool people. Thank you, special thanks to mi parejón, Martin Sauerman, y a mi pinche tocallito, Gustavo Alarcón, el morenito. So you are more than welcome to come over and see it. You know, one of these Saturdays or Fridays, you're in the mood to listen really good rock in Spanish. We have this band. Come over this way, production. You're going to love this thing. We have a live stage. It's super cool, pretty Mexican. We have some t-shirts actually signed by El Tri. We do have one of the guitars from Boombury that actually El Parejón brought here to Fort and B. We also have another one of the guitars from Juanes. And obviously we have also from Enanitos Verdes, which we used to have them almost all the time. So this is the house of the rock in Spanish. And if you ever happen to be in Chula Vista, this is a must. You have to stop by here and have a couple of beers because you're going to love this place. And thank you so much to Martin for allowing us to have, what a better way to have a talk of mezcal than in the house of rock en español. Mi barra, 1073 3rd Street, okay? So that being said, let's go back to the bar. And I guess this is the proper time, my friend. So, Marquitos.
Voy a pasármelo bien, as the song says.
Yeah, definitely. And let's talk about mezcal.
Perfecto. Salud.
All right.
I think we should start with at least a little sip of something.
Please, please.
So the way that I set these up is lower proof to higher proof.
All right.
So I think that we're going to have viewers that are, this is going to be their first time tasting mezcal, and there's probably going to be viewers that are mezcal aficionados, and they probably know a lot about mezcal as well. So this conversation hopefully helps a lot of people.
Yeah, and basically, I mean, like the way that we wanted to do this thing for everybody over there at home, para toda la gente en casa, we're not planning to be like experts here. Basically, we just want to make sure that we do the proper introduction of one of the nicest and coolest spirits, which is mezcal. I have the specialist in mezcals, hopefully future mezcal sommelier.
Yes, sir.
Jordan is actually working on his title. So right now, what is actually your position right now in Casa Amaras?
So Casa Amaras, I am the California State Manager.
Okay.
But I do many things. I am in sales, so I'm in the field presenting the brand to everyone, knocking on everybody's door, see who wants to try some new product in the market, product that is 100% sustainable,
okay.
Product that is helping the land, helping the people. We have a replantation program. The industry standard is about 2 agaves for everyone you harvest. Casa Amaras does 7 to 10 agaves for everyone we harvest. So it's really good to like help the land and help the people. I was watching this amazing. I hear about this philosophy from the seed to the sip, which is the main circle of the process of since the moment that you plant the agave, do you harvest and you take it to the people's lips. Yep. De la semilla a la copa. From seed to sip. Yes. So the whole, I guess I'll go in the process of making mezcal. So the plant, there are about over 200 different species of mezcal, or I'm sorry, of magueyes or agaves. It's the same plant. Yeah. Is the maguey is the word that we normally use in Mexico.
Well, the maguey is the word that the Spaniards gave it to the actual plant, but actually agave is the technical name for the actual plant.
That is cooked agave. So technically, the category mezcal is any distillate of the plant of agave.
Correct.
So the plant, depending on the species, can take 25, 30 years to mature.
Okay.
At that point, the maestro mezcalero decides, in our company at least, if they're gonna let that plant mature all the way through and handpick the seed, and then take it to the nurseries and let them grow for about a year and a half. Once it's big enough for the rabbits not to eat it, then they can replant it back into the wild.
Okay.
The rest of the plant is called capon, where they cut the stem that's growing in the middle, el quiote.
This one is called el quiote.
Yeah,
I hear about it, and actually it's called the castration. Es la castración, del quiote, que viene siendo pues la parte sexual de la planta, vaya. Cuando ya sale es cuando se encuentra 100% maduro el agave, si mal no recuerdo.
Yep.
Perfecto, cool.
Entonces,
so 100%
so
mature.
when the quiote is growing and it reaches its sexual maturity, it flowers and it dies. It blooms one time and that's it.
Oh, really?
That's it, yeah. So the maestro mezcalero decides when it's mature enough, usually before, right when the dry season ends, because they need the cooking, right? So you don't want it to be in wet soil and it's going to be harder to cook.
All right.
So they decide when that's going to happen. They take it out of the ground. They cut the pencas, the leaves. For everybody listening, if there's any questions that you have as we're going through this, please, shoot us a message.
Yeah, please. I mean, if you guys have any questions, I mean, this is a proper person to ask. And obviously, we're going to have your expert opinion, and also you're going to have my opinion as a bartender, as a mixologist. So you have the best of both worlds here, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. This is not like super savvy and we're like the top. Oh my God, and this is the guys. No, we are here just to have a really cool orientation to the people in order for them to try and get into the world of mezcal, which is really, really extended. I mean. Do you believe that mezcal will reach nowadays the dimension that it's reaching 10 years ago?
No, I don't think anybody saw that. I think that maybe Del Maguey at one point they saw it when they started exporting in 1995. I think is when they started exporting.
Yeah, I think so. 1991, 1995. Ron Cooper, if I remember well. Yeah.
So
the guy, I mean, he was living in Oaxaca for I don't know how many years, and he just fell in love with this thing. But I mean, it is just amazing that something so pure, because I mean, eventually we're going to reach the point that we were going to be comparing mezcal with tequila, and why tequila went so far, so fast, and leaving mezcal on the back, and this was the underdog, and now, I mean, right now, if you actually are into the world of mezcal, you're going to understand, and you start seeing that this is kind of like it's getting pair to pair with the finest scotches, and I'm talking about for the variety, the things that they involve in the production, the terroir, the type of the varietal of the agave, the way that it's cooked, the way that it's processed, the way that it's distilled. I mean, we go from stainless steel, from copper to clay. So there's so many world about this thing, and it's that's why it's so interesting. I mean, I just love it.
So you're talking about where mezcal is going. A very small brand, a very small company, Amaras, just won double gold in the San Francisco Spirits Competition.
I saw that.
Best in class, best in show, double gold medal. I'll put a close up there. But when you talk about, the quality, the history, right now, mezcal is the oldest spirit of the Americas.
Yeah.
Some people say...
How many people know about it?
Some people say that it might be the oldest spirit in the world. So this dates over 400 years, almost 500 years ago. So when you think about the age that it has and still following the same process that it did at one point, it's tremendous. It's the cleanest spirit that you can put in your body if you want to see it that way, because there should only be 3 ingredients. The plant, which is the agave, the wood to cook it in, and then the water from the well or the river. And that should be it, right? Yeah. Everything else, the outside factors don't really... will contribute flavors, but it's not something that we're adding. So to have something that good that simple,
Pure.
quote unquote,
Pure.
so pure from that long ago.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
There's always, I mean, somebody actually said something to me very interesting, and he said, like you said, I mean, the mezcal it is the first spirit distilled in America, okay? But they're like, no, pulque was the first one. Well, pulque was the first alcoholic beverage. Let's set that apart. Pulque was the first alcoholic beverage, and then the first distilled spirit, it was mezcal.
And there's different theories on, was it the Spaniards that brought the copper alambique, or was it them bringing it from the Philippines? So there's a Filipino version as well, that they actually brought it to the Spaniards. The Spaniards brought it down here. They ran out of their own liquor that they were drinking, their own wine. They saw pulque and they're like, this is good, but let's distill it. And that's one of the theories.
So basically they were like, okay, so what are we going to get drunk with? Let's find something that's like, oh, they have pulque. Well, let's try to distill this in, and voila, they have mezcal.
Yeah. So pulque is made out of a different type of plant.
All right.
Yeah, so they actually cut the area where the quiote should grow, and that's how the water of the pulque comes through, and that's when you start drinking.
Have you ever get drunk with that?
Oh my God, I've never gotten drunk with that, but I'm sure you can get very magical.
No, you don't want to do that. It can be pretty brutal at the next day.
Yep.
Yeah, it dehydrates you like.
Yeah, so speaking of that, should we have a shot
Yeah,
of something?
you know, production, can you be so kind, please? Can I have some of let's start with something a little bit more mellow.
Yeah.
So, do you don't mind?
Yeah, no, so I think this one, Desahogo, is 39 ABV. So if you're just starting with mezcal, a lot of mezcal purists are going to tell you that the best mezcales are above 45 ABV. And there might be some truth to that, but if you're going to start and your first mezcal is going to be 49 ABV, you are probably not going to be very happy with your taste, or your taste buds are not going to be very happy with you. So I think that you should start with something a little bit softer. Teach your taste buds to start appreciating what's supposed to be in the bottle, and then let the evolution and the progression grow on its own. Because if you're trying to force it, you're probably going to get very discouraged. Awesome. So I'd say start with something slow,
so this
soft.
Yeah, so nice, low graduation on alcohol. This one, it is got sent to me from Matatlan, Oaxaca. It's supposed to be the capital, if it's not the real capital of the mezcal. Special thanks to El Desahogo restaurant in Veracruz, Marga y Cesar. Thank you so much, you guys. I gotta show you something so cool.
Perfect.
Check this out. El Desahogo beer, cerveza, El Desahogo con mezcal. You gotta try this thing. We're gonna, dude, he's telling me they're so good, so good. This is a wheat beer, and it has a infusion of mezcal.
Awesome.
This is, if you're in Mexico, guys, you gotta try this thing. It's coming over to America. Cesar is working now to start exporting this product. It is really, really tasty. But we're gonna.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's getting cold now, the way it's
perfect.
And do you guys want to do some shout outs?
Well,
we have some people watching.
Who do we have? Yes. Hi.
We have Paul, we have Marco, we have Alex, we have Juliana,
Okay.
Margarita Infante.
¡Ah, tía! Paso, prima, ¿cómo estamos? Polito, el Capi, saludos a toda la familia Scutia, a la
Tocayo.
jefita. Sí los conoces, sí los conoces.
Enrique, Vivi,
La Mimirucha,
Enrique.
¿Cuál de todos?
I don't know.
A ver, identifícate, padre, ¿cuál de todos? All right, so
here's
let's start with El Desahogo.
Yeah,
okay?
while he's serving this, a little history with Gustavo and I. We worked together in Tijuana.
1992, 1995.
So that's what, like
Bunch of years ago.
20 something years ago, maybe,
Yeah.
like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time, and I am very happy to be toasting with you today.
Thank you
With
so
mezcal.
much, brother, for accepting the invitation.
Oh, this
Thank you.
this is
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank
Now,
you.
another thing, now that we have our glass in your hand, this is not like tequila. Do not do shots of mezcal.
We're going to go to that in just 1 second as a bartender, guys. Please, hang in there. All right, so I know that this is not the proper... I mean, I know that everybody likes to bring the little jicaras or the little shots, But I mean, as a bartender, we have to have an explanation. The Glencairn glass, it is designed to engage your nose before you actually taste the product. So this one is designed for scotch, for the fine whiskeys.
And bourbons.
But also it works perfectly fine for mezcals. Why? Because I mean, in our taste buds, I mean, we just identified 5 flavors, but I mean, with our nose, we want to identify thousands of them. And that's the first thing. You want to engage your mezcal first with your nose. That way you can start getting some of the aromas, and then when you go to the palate, then you identify those aromas a lot better, and you hasten the actual tasting. So I love, honestly, I like for introduction, mezcal, El Desahogo is perfect. I used to love it. I mean, I remember I was having the first sips and I was like, wow, this is so good. Nice, herbal, a little bit of floral, a little bit of citrusy, and I love that little wet stone smell that it has.
So another good thing about mezcal in a cup like this, like he was saying, it helps your nose and your taste buds work together. This is the closest thing that you're going to find to wine, where the terroir affects the taste profile of the mezcal, but also the way you smell and the way you describe a mezcal is very similar also to wine. So you can, talk about viscosity, in mezcal is the pearls, right?
Correct.
So the pearls, las perlas, to identify the alcohol content. In wine, you would see the legs. That's how you identify, alcohol content. Your nose is 8,000 times more sensible than your taste buds.
Totally.
So that's why. Also, another little trick here. If you smell with your mouth open, you're gonna have your nose and your mouth work together, and you start getting all of the aromas and all of the taste working together at the same time. So you can smell, and then you gotta put your nose in it, right? And then open your mouth a little bit, and then you can start tasting some of them.
Ah.
I know.
Well, seems to be like the old lion actually knows new tricks. Totally, yes. And actually, you get them on the sides, basically where you get the dryness of the wine.
The other thing, the first sip, el besito de mezcal. Just put it in your lips, get a little bit in your taste buds, cover your mouth, coat your mouth with the mezcal. Gonna get everything ready. You don't want to do a quick shot because then your taste buds are just gonna go into shock. So just very easy, soft. This should take you 4, 5, 6 different sips before you finish a shot. Yeah. Not like tequila that you want to,
Yeah, and that's one of the things, guys. I mean, like mezcal, it is not some kind of a spirit that you're just gonna do mix it with Red Bull and do mezcal bombs. Don't do that. It's mezcal. It has to have a certain respect, and I will tell you why. Because the high graduation that sometimes it can be, disguised with alcohol and with some mixers and sugar, I mean, it can knock you down pretty bad. So it's a sipping spirit. Yeah. It's a sipping experience also, because when you are degustating and you're drinking mezcal, I mean, basically it happens like this. Getting together with friends, creating good moments, creating good memories, okay? And maybe somehow experimenting new flavors, discovering new cocktails, being a little bit more creative. But I mean, this is not something that you just want to grab a bottle and you just turn the music up and you have 2, 3 shots. I mean, it's going to be really rough. It's something to sip, to enjoy. And I mean, it will be very expensive because there's like some bottles that I'm like, oh my God.
Yes.
One of the I was looking at it. There's like some agaves that they're so wild and they're so exotic. They can reach $175 to $350. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, and the reason why is you have to wait. Like in the case of Cupriata, for example, our Cupriata from Amaras, you have to wait 13 years for the plant to mature in the ground before you can take it out, and then you can start working on it, right? So when you think about, 13 years, it's a long time. But here's another little pro tip. When you take the sip of mezcal and the fumes start coming back up, release them. 2 things. 1, those vapors are gonna come out, and 2, you're gonna start tasting some of those other taste notes that's supposed to be in here. So when you release, the same with scotch. When you start getting, when you swallow the mezcal, then release the fumes, and then you start tasting the other hidden notes.
Another trick that I learned, and this was somebody that actually was from Oaxaca, a friend of my mother, I barely remember the name, but he brought me some mezcal, bruto, I don't know what I'm drinking. So you put a few drops in your hand, and what you do is rub your hands as fast as you can, and when it's evaporated, just put it in your nose and smell. And it's exactly what you smell is the coction of the agave. We're smelling actually the blankets. You can smell some rocks. And some of the dirt, kind of like a wet dirt.
Yeah. It's also a way for you to identify if there is any additives, anything that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
If your hands get sticky after you rub them, then there is some chemicals that shouldn't be there. There's going to be some faults if you start smelling like ethanol, like if it smells like nail polish or gasoline, then you know there's something, a flaw, either by mistake or that you planned it.
You did it on purpose.
On purpose. There could be a couple of things, right? That you didn't have enough mezcal that was ready to be harvested, and you did it anyways, and you just, this is the only thing that you have, so you just go ahead and you do it. And it results in having a flaw, right? So it'll be like a faulty smell.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so there we go. So now we start like getting
more technical.
Yeah, very technical. But I mean, this is information that everybody needs to know. So let's say, okay, so I'm new to the world of mezcal. What is the first thing that I have to look in a bottle?
Here, let me reach over here. So the more information that you have in a bottle, the better. So, again, I'm going to go back to Mezcal Amaras because this is who I work for, so this is what I'm most familiar with.
No, and actually this is
so
this is
you need,
for
you
Amaras.
you need to know, I guess I'll start with, there's different categories of mezcal. There is artisanal, there is the ancestral, and then there's also industrial. I would advise you to stay away from industrial because it's basically a machine that produces everything. They use diffusers. Diffusers is like a pressure washer that shoots high pressure to the agave, separating the fibers, extracting the sugars artificially. And then they use a machine that's called autoclave. Tequila uses it as well. It's kind of like a pressure cooker that also, again, extracts, like cooks the piñas not in the proper way, and it extracts artificial flavors out of that. So you can use a lot of or agaves that are not ready. You can just put them on the pressure cooker and you just continue going. You push a button and everything is done for you. Not the best way. So
so that's the industrial way.
That's the industrial way.
Okay, so what is artesanal?
Artesanal is everything made by hand, and you will see it on the label. It should say artesanal. That's one of the things that you need to look for. You need to look for the type of plant that they're using. So, for example, espadín is the type of plant. Tequila uses blue agave or tequilana. That's the type of plant. But also, just to make things a little bit more complicated, Angustophilia is actually the name of the plant. And then based on that, people from different towns will have a different name for Angustophilia. So it'll be espadín Angustophilia. So Angustophilia is the proper name, and then espadín in one place, 3 blocks down the street could be espada, and 3 blocks down the street could be something else. Everybody will name it.
Basically, it's like, for instance, when I was in Puebla, they were telling me that it was the papalo metal, which is the endemic name for the tobalá. Correct. Okay, so there we go. So we have like the name that the native people give it to the plant, and they also the technical name.
And I think that, did you have is this a tobalá, I believe? Or cenizo?
No, I don't have it.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, my friend Paul Diaz actually drank my tobalá tres pullas. Thank you so much, Paul. I really appreciate it. It was actually really nice to see my empty bottle. Thank you. I appreciate that.
His mom's watching too. So.
Oh, jefita, se chupó el pinche Paul el mezcal. Ni la chinga.
So that's another thing that you need to look for.
All right.
Another thing that you want to look for is, for example, in our label, it has the year where it was harvested. It has the season when it was harvested, the lot number of where it was harvested, and then the signature of the master distiller.
Okay.
So you want to follow those things. You also want to make sure that it has el sello de the CRM.
The CRM, yeah, de la Comisión Reguladora de Mezcal.
Del mezcal.
Correct.
Yes. Another thing
By the acronym on Spanish, it's going to be the Commission of Mezcal.
The Regulatory Mezcal.
Commission of Mezcal.
Then in the back of the label, you'll see some of the certifications that we've acquired because of our purity of how we make it. But we are carbon neutral certification, as well as kosher and kosher for Passover. But then there's also a NAM. And the NAM will help you identify where the mezcal is coming from, where the plants are coming from, and where they're being distilled. So if you're buying either tequila or mezcal, look for that NAM, and then it'll give you a lot more information that you need to know. But those are some of the things that I would look for.
And also the graduation, right?
And then also the graduation. So the reposado?
Spending $100 on a bottle, that doesn't mean that it's like the greatest mezcal. It could be like a really high graduation, and this is your first mezcal. You have one sip, and boom, you just like shut down.
And you're gonna hate mezcal for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
So this one, the reposado, is 40 ABV. This one only rests in French and American oak barrels for 90 days. So we want you to be able to taste the mezcal and then the wood, not the other way around. We don't want you to just taste the wood. Nothing against añejos or extra añejos. I'm sure there's some delicious ones out there. But when you wait, in this case, 8 years for the plant to grow, and then all you taste is the wood, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's about tasting the spirit and then some of the other characteristics.
All right, so just give it a little air.
Salud again. So just so you know, there is over 200 plants of agave, about 40 plus that you can actually make mezcal with.
Right.
The reason why there's only about 40 because the other ones do not have enough sugar to make a mezcal. So you would need way more. So for example, Cupriata, you need, I think it's like 16 kilos to make 1 liter. So you need a lot more.
I was looking actually on one of the prices, the Salmiana, the Salmiana Mezcal. It seems to be like one of the most exotic ones. And one of the most expensive because the cheapest bottle that I found, it was $175. Wow. I was like, wow. I mean, then somebody told me, yeah, because Salmiana actually holds really low sugars. And because of that, is obviously, I mean, it is a wild agave. It is really hard to get. It takes certain times. And obviously, in the car. Sorry. Technical difficulties with the live stuff. It is on the floor, baby. Thank you. So, closed door.
So even though this is a little bit higher proof than Desahogo,
yeah, but
I still think that it still drinks a little bit softer because it's resting in the French and American oak barrels. It's soft in those edges.
So it takes a little bit up.
Yeah, and it brings a little bit of the vanilla note.
It's not as abrasive.
Yes. So we call this the converter. I think that if you're gonna have a mezcal drinker, a new mezcal drinker, you should start with something that's soft. One thing that I recommend actually to people is go to a local mezcaleria or a bar that has more than one mezcal and order a flight. Talk to the bartenders, talk to the waiters, like ask them for different regions. If they have information,
Yes.
Amaras flights, there you go. Ask for, different regions, different styles of agave, different, ABVs. That way you can start understanding what you like and you don't like. So that next time you go and you start advancing your taste buds, that you can actually know what you want or what you don't want. So you can start talking to your friends about it. You can do mezcal parties at your house. Everybody can bring a different bottle from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then you can start exchanging ideas and conversating that way. That way you can all teach.
So let's see, what the states, I mean, if I remember well, so correct me if I'm wrong. San Luis Potosí.
Yes.
Okay. Guerrero.
Yes.
Or Oaxaca, I mean, obviously. I was in the center of this scene. Puebla.
Puebla is the newest one.
It's the newest one.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay,
So
we have Puebla.
1994 is when the CRM allowed 4 other states, and I think it was Puebla was the latest one, but I think it was also Guanajuato, San Luis Potosí, and
Guanajuato, Zacatecas, y Durango.
Yes.
So today, what we have here is Guerrero, we have Durango, we have another one from Durango, we have Oaxaca, and yeah, this is Oaxaca as well. I wish I had my Puebla, Tobalá, but thank you, Paul. I'm not going to let go of this in, man. Seriously, I'm not going to let it go. Anyway.
Yep. So now
Right.
there are 9 states for mezcal. There's 5 states for tequila, and there's 9 states for mezcal.
All right. So this is a second way to introduce yourself. A reposado, espadín reposado Amaras. That's a nice. It is it's really nice and mellow. It's not abrasive.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
It's very soft. You can sip this very easily without. I mean, it kind of almost disappears going down your throat. Like it's.
I gotta throw something in here. So okay.
Okay, so here
A
we go.
little bit of the bartending thing of me here. And this is what, like I said, I mean, the drinking and talking about mezcal is not about just like opening a bottle and having shots, and 25 minutes later you like totally, regret doing that. It's just to sit down, to talk, compare notes, talk about it, friends, stories, family, and also a little bit about food. So as the opposite as the tequila, which is just like having the lime and salt, and shot and
Yeah.
otro más. Yeah, no.
Otro más.
Yeah, this is a little bit more smoother, and you don't want to shut down your bottles. What you want to do is just clear it and get them ready for another, for keep trying and tasting the flavors of the actual product. So here what I have is a little bit of carrots. I have some celeries. I have chicharrones and guacamole. I have some pistachios, nuts, and my favorite for mezcal, which is orange and cinnamon. So guys, this is the way. You have your sips, and then it's a moment that you start feeling that little vapor here, and it's just like a little too harsh. It starts like getting a little too much.
Explore with different salts too. There is sal de gusano, worm salt. We brought peanut and chili salt.
That's Casa Amaras.
Casa Amaras. This is delicious, by the way. That you can just like snack on. That is, like we just slap a label on that.
Actually, I just have a couple little pieces right now. I was like, this is going to be really cool on top of my own. I have some other salts here. This is sal de gusano. I'm going to ask you later on about the gusano.
Yeah.
So, sal de gusano, mitla. Also, I have some hoja santa and citrus. So this is the stuff that you can put to your
veggies.
To your veggies, or you just have a little chicharroncito, with a little bit of guacamole and. Please,
Yeah.
that's
No,
what you do.
please, yeah. This one looks really good. So.
There we go. So now we're getting ready, and like I said, we're not shooting it. It's just like a little sip, and you
You're
can
sipping
start.
it.
Just a
You know,
taste.
but this is a very soft introduction to mezcal. This reposado, even though it is, like I said, a little higher than Desahogo, it's still very smooth.
Nice. Okay, let's move it up. What do we have next? I'm in love with the verde. I gotta tell you, I mean, like out of everything, I know that probably you're gonna put the espadín, but I gotta tell you this. I mean, this guy. What is the difference in between those and this verde? Because I mean, it is a lot more herbal. It has a little bit more botanicals. It's smoother. It's not as smoky, and I mean, everybody loves it.
Yeah, so this, we'll skip a couple bottles. This one was made with the bartender, with the cocktail maker in mind, with a longer neck. It's higher ABV at 43%.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna go after that.
Yeah, and it's also cooked with 3 different woods. So for you to say that it's not as smoky, it's interesting because it is not an overpowering smoke. It is different layers of smoke because it's cooked with 3 different woods.
Okay, there you go.
So yeah, that's why it's a little bit different. But we'll get there.
Okay.
To me, this is one of my favorite labels of verde.
La Sirena.
La Sirena.
All right.
Here, you don't. rinse,
You want to watch it next? Okay, perfect.
rinse, you know, mezcal with mezcal.
Para todo mal mezcal,
Para todo bien,
también. Y si no hay remedio,
litro y medio.
litro y medio.
So this is Espadín Joven, 8 years, from Oaxaca.
Okay.
Again, everything that you need to find on the label is right here.
One of the
Also-
cool things that I saw is this. Yes.
QR code.
Yes. I love that. So basically, I mean, you just like take the picture of the QR, and it's going to give you altitude, master mezcalero, the company, the region, alcohol proof, permits. I mean, all the description, the whole birth certificate of the mezcal is going to be on that QR. It is so cool. I love that.
And this is cooked with red oak.
Oh.
So there's different types of wood that people use to cook with, right?
Right.
There's pirul, oak, in our case, pepper wood. So there's different types. Everybody has their own spin, right? That's
Okay.
It's kind of like cooking. Everybody has their own.
Sorry, man. I'm a muncher.
Yeah, it's kind of like. Yeah, everybody has their own recipe, right? You can give the specific recipe to somebody, and it'll still taste different. If we both make the same thing, follow the same ingredients, it'll still taste a little different. It's just the magic of everybody's,
Nice.
la mano, no? It's like the
Yeah.
So.
Maestro Mezcalero is the one that actually
Yeah.
gives you the whole definition on this thing. Okay.
And Maestro Mezcaleros use their 5 senses to know when this is ready. So the artisanal, they don't have equipment. There's nothing plugged into anything. It's all handmade, right? So when they put it in the open vase, they have to listen to the bubbling of the mezcal. When it's distilling, they hear how fast it's coming to the copper still. So that's when they know how fast. If it's going too fast, that means that it's higher alcohol content.
Okay.
It's just going faster, So they have to use everything. They smell. They have to touch to see if the mosto, the juice with the bagaza, with the shreds of the agave. So it's everything. It's all their senses, right? So there's no equipment to measure anything. It's all visual, tactile, snows. It's everything.
I happened to be at Tres Puyas in Puebla, San Diego, Tochimilcingo, La Mesa. That is a small little town in Puebla. And they were showing me about the technique. So basically, they just have the jicara, they put the actual mezcal in there, and they do what is called the aperlado.
Yeah.
So basically, they just suck into this
Carrizo.
the
Mexican
carrizo,
bamboo.
so, yeah, like the sugar cane straw, basically. And when they let them go, according with what I learned in that experience, he was telling me that the bigger the bubbles and the fastest they disappear, the higher the alcohol content it will be. So it needs a little bit more water, it needs a little bit more distillation. And obviously when the aperlado, the pearls, is actually smaller and they last longer, then that tells you, it's telling you the graduation of the alcohol. So it's all these little tricks,
Yeah.
but I mean, like you said, there's no machine. It is nose, and it's just the view, and it's the palate.
Yep.
So it is, there's no, it's natural. I mean, everything is just pure. We're going back to the pureness of the actual
Yeah.
product.
So now this is 41 ABV.
Production, you want a chicharroncito?
It's delicious. There is still a smoke presence there.
Yeah.
It's not overpowering with smoke. There's a little bit of sweetness. It's very easy, very approachable. What I like about this though is that it doesn't carry down to your throat. That it makes you like this is to me very, very smooth.
I love the way it smells.
So, to all of the maestros mezcaleros from Amaras and for everyone else, thank you for continuing to making some wonderful mezcales. There is some wonderful mezcales from all over. I talk more about Amaras because that's what I work for. That's what I'm more familiar with. But I've had the pleasure of tasting so many different mezcales. A big shout out to ASI. That's who I'm doing my Mezcalier program with. I have tried 30 different mezcales with them to go through this process. But there's mezcal. I guess we'll talk about this categories of mezcales, right? So there's joven, the unaged, the blanco. There's the reposado. There's añejo, but then there's also some that are aging in glass. So you can in a glass container for 1 year.
Right.
Envasado en vidrio, yes sir. There's even one in plastic that we tried. There is.
Donayan?
Dude, I asked Daniel if you're watching. I even asked him. I was like a blue plastic barrel, and it was it's something similar, but it's not the same one, but something similar to that to have the mezcal. So it was just completely trippy, you know.
Interesting.
I know.
Interesting.
The glass,
I in Tres Pullas, when I got there, they have the Tobalá on those big water dispensers, you know, the 5-gallon water jar, glass, and it was covered actually with a mazorca.
Okay.
You know, with the rest of the corn hull is actually the thing that actually they used to cover it. And I mean, they were collecting dust right there in the dark, kind of like a nice temperature, but I mean, it was in the dark, and the guy is like, it's just, taking his time. This is going to be ready for, next year. I'm like,
the glass container,
Okay, so, all right, that makes sense. I was like,
So there's another one that we haven't even talked about, and not a lot of people talk about, ensambles, that are blend of 2 different mezcal plants.
Okay.
So those are called ensambles, when you can blend 2 different ensembles, where you can make 2 different plants into the same juice.
Okay, so but I mean, let's get this straight. The main producer of mezcal is Espadín.
Yeah, like 90% of what you'll see in the market is Espadín.
Okay, so then we have the rest.
Yeah, so there's Cuiches, Madre Cuiches, Carwinskis, Tobalá, Sierra Negra, Cenizo, Barril, Americana, Mexicano, Espadín. I mean, there's 40 different plants, so that's what you need to see what plant you're drinking.
So if you guys planning to get into a really world on this and become experts, start saving money.
Yeah, there's only 40 different plants, and within each region, I think Oaxaca alone, I think it has like 15 different regions to make. They make their own mezcal.
I really want to do a trip to Oaxaca and just dedicate myself to just go to palenques, learn this thing, and just like a jump from one cantina to another and just tasting these guys because it's an experience. Palenque, when you're talking about alcohol, is the distillery. Yeah, it's not where the cockfighting is.
There's not where the cockfighting is. So just so you know, when we talk about bagaza is the shreds after the piñas go through the grinder. The leftover shreds are the bagaza. That's what they put in the open vase for the fermentation with the water. Another thing that we forgot totally to mention is maguey in general has been such a big part of Mexican culture, right? We use the pencas for thread to make hilo, right? To for sewing.
Yeah, for sewing. Correct.
Also, when you peel it, there is a chemical that's used for soap. When you cook it, it could be made into tepache without fermenting it, without making it into mezcal. It could be tepache. When you cook it, it could also be edible, so you can still eat it, right? Get all the sugars out of it. So you can make the pencas in their homes would use the pencas as like part of the roof. So there is a lot of different applications for the plant. What Mezcal Amaras does is like everything after the whole process, it kind of goes back to the land. So like all of the bagaza is used as organic fertilizer. So we don't use any chemicals. So everything is from the land, about the land, and then back to the land.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So, but yeah, what do you think? What do you think of the Espadín Joven?
I just love the smoke in this one. It's I'm not a very smoky person, but I can spend my day just smelling this glass.
Yeah. So now, for the people that want to know where the smoke comes from, so this is, I guess, process 2. Once they cut the piñas in the field, they bring it to the in-ground oven. It gets covered with about 2.5 tons of river rock or lava rock. And the reason why they use those rocks is because it can hold the heat. So they use about like 2 tons of wood. 2 tons of wood, and the wood, when it's heating up the rock, and the rock becomes a flat iron, right? It becomes the oven. It becomes like a cooking surface for all of the plants. There is about 10 tons, you're right, 10 tons of piñas that go into the in-ground oven, and then it gets covered. So these piñas can be cooked up to 7-9 days. So all of that smoke is trapped. They cover it with dirt, tapetes, blankets,
straw,
whatever.
and stuff.
Now, the less space you leave for it to breathe, the more smoke is going to capture.
All
right?
right.
So, yeah, that's where the smoke comes from.
All
Or
right.
the people that ask, why is it so smoky? Well, because it's cooked.
That's what it gives the smokiness on.
Yes, because it gets cooked for
Right.
many, many days. We are going next to Durango, to Resol.
This one actually has a really cool story. It is made here in San Diego. Well, the original idea is from San Diego. Obviously, it is made in Mexico. But the owners are actually here in San Diego. And I was talking to them at my work. And the gentleman was so kind. Zach, thank you very much, man, from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. We definitely want to be able to, one of these days, sit down, have a talk, and hopefully you're going to be on this side, talking about Resol. This is originally here from San Diego. And this is from Durango.
So all of your Durango people, shout out.
Yep. Bildo Sarabia, Zach, thank you so much, you guys, and all the people
wow.
that actually they're doing the mezcal in Durango. Thank you very much. This is it's like so different.
So this is also 42 ABV. So we're, if you can catch on, we're graduating from 38 of the Desahogo, and we're gonna end up at 48 or 49.
Yeah.
48 with Origen Raiz.
But Origen Raiz, and that's cenizo. So this is actually cenizo, mezcal cenizo from Durango.
I like the bottle.
Yeah.
It looks really cool.
Yep. It is made by surfers and skateboarders. So they try to represent the waves of California on the back. I assume, and obviously the beautiful orange sunsets. That's actually a very, very, very cool bottle, and the design is really nice. But the product is good. It is good. I mean,
I like the smell, yeah.
outstanding. It's a little bit more
Earthy.
earthy and lighter.
Yeah.
It's not it doesn't have that kick.
Yeah. So for you at home, start smelling fruits when you go to the produce store. Start smelling everything that you come in contact with, because that's how you're going to teach your brain what these smells are.
To identify the flavors and to identify the smells.
Yeah.
All right. So,
All right, let's try this.
have you had it before?
Yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah.
So because we take care of our animals in Amaras, we don't use this.
You don't, oh, I'm sorry.
No,
It never happened. All right. Well, I told you I have the hoja santa right here in salt, so I can use the one. All right. Let's move on. And about if you talk to us about the verde, while I'm making the verde, I really want to. You want to go for cupreta? I want to make a cocktail.
Okay, what are you gonna make a cocktail with? And then I can start talking about, you wanna make verde?
I want to make it with verde because actually that one is like here. You hold this one. I have my own here. I know here.
That was your own.
There.
Okay. So mezcal verde we touched on a little bit earlier. It's 43 ABV, cooked with 3 different woods: pine, oak, and also pepper tree. Same rules apply to the rest of the Amaras family. Goes into making mezcal verde as well. We call this the artist series because it's made by a different artist. Every label is made by different artists, which is really cool. The company has this contest where up-and-coming artists can submit their art, and the winners get to be on the label. So I mentioned earlier that we're a small company. For example, this is one of the labels. We're a small company, but we're distributed in 22 countries. So it's really cool if you're an up-and-coming artist. You're an up-and-coming artist that you can start talking about your art being presented in 22 countries. Here is another really cool label. That's what it's using to make this cocktail. So, Gustavo, what are you making?
So, this is a smoky mule. So let me tell you what I did, and actually I can tell you, I mean, this thing was a 100% hit at my work. We're using the Mezcal Verde. We put in a little bit of a pineapple and red pepper jelly, splash of lime juice, half of an ounce of Ancho Reyes, and we just give it a little nice shake to finalize it in your cup.
I was hoping for the music, the song that you play in your videos.
And if you're waiting for the smile, you better sit down and you're gonna be waiting a little bit longer. When I'm like focusing, I'm like fast guy. I don't like to look at the camera and be like. But sometimes production just gives me a hard time. It's like a smile. I'm like, oh, sorry. So here you go, my nice smile. And you finish it with some ginger beer. And I like to put a little bit of rosemary. That's a little too much, sorry.
It smells great.
So, let's give it a little. I'm telling you, I love this meal.
Oh, I mean, if you're talking about a summer cocktail,
Yep.
well, really, Southern California, any year-round cocktail.
San Diego, we are talking about an average of lovely 74, 75 degrees throughout. And then as soon as we start like reaching to July, August, and September, we go from the 75, 76, and we reach to the 105. So it can be really hot in San Diego and very humid. This is a really nice cocktail to keep yourself nice and chill in the pool, or like I said, having a good conversation with friends. Made with the Verde. It's not as smoky, I believe, in the cocktail itself. But it gives you these really nice herbal and botanical flavors for the actual cocktail, and it's just like works perfect. I mean,
No, it's delicious. So one thing that I would like to mention is when you're making a cocktail with mezcal, you want to be able to know that is mezcal.
yeah,
Right, so you want a little bit of that like smoke to come out of the glass.
that
If not,
distinctive
if not, might as well do
touch.
vodka soda.
Yeah.
But if you want to have those, mezcal cocktail, I mean, this is delicious.
Now, let's move on. My favorite for sipping.
Delicious.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Amaras Mezcal. That's not because he's here or because that we are like, no. The product itself, guys, give it a chance. I mean, the flavor is outstanding. The bouquet is just phenomenal. The history behind the company, it is one of the nicest things that I've seen and heard in a very long time, especially for the way that they are taking care of the people, the native people that they live in, and they help to produce the mezcal. So they're helping the people out. They are being sustainable. I mean, there's so many things about that mezcal, but I mean, this one in particular, my favorite is the cupreta. The flavors is actually, how would you describe?
So the way I describe this is from Guerrero. So you have the Acapulco coastline, and then you have the jungle. When you smell this, you smell both. You smell the minerality, you smell the vegetal, right? And then when you put it in your mouth and you start tasting it, my mouth is watering, no joke.
Yep.
You start getting a lot more of the like bell pepper, almost like a jalapeno flavor. And then when those vapors start coming back out, you start tasting like some cacao and some tropical fruits. So
But you're
that's how I
100%
describe
like
this.
a jungle, and you're right. It's like a kind
Yeah.
of like a jungle. It's
To me is, when you get a bell pepper, a sweet bell pepper, and you just get that knife through it, that crisp, that jumps out, and it's bell pepper.
Yeah.
It's fresh and it's green and vibrant. That's what I smell. And I remember seeing the video that you made for Margarita Day.
Oh, the mezcalita.
Yeah, that you made with cucumber. I think that was the perfect combination because they're both like vibrant aromas and flavors and taste profiles that you're both, are.
It was a little. I was like, seriously, I really want to ruin this. This product is so good by itself. And when I have a sip of the margarita, I was like, oh, dear Lord. I mean, it was perfect. It was like a made for each other. It was so good. You want me to make you one?
I here, please. I try to make it at home and it didn't work out as good as his, but this is the one that San Francisco Spirit Competition awarded the best mezcal in the world, and it gave them two gold medals, one best in class, best in show. I mean, it doesn't get like when you are. It doesn't matter how big the company is, but when you're a small company, accolades like this, when you are rewarded for all of the work, it just means so much more. So to all of the maestros mezcaleros that have worked in this project and really any other project, salud.
Yeah. We
Well-
thank you for that. Us bartenders, we thank you for that.
Yep. Well, yeah, I love tasting this cupriata.
They don't use anymore
Yeah,
because,
so again,
because it's mine.
cupriata is the type of plant that is used to make this. So I explain this to people. Think about mezcal being like wine. Every grape is a different varietal. You have the Chardonnays, you have the Cabernets. The same with mezcal. You have cupriata, you have espadins, you have cenizos, you have tobalas, you have many other ones. And there's, actually, I just heard this. There is 5 species of mezcal that are new, that are not certified or recognized as new plants yet. They're still doing some DNA testing to see if it's not a hybrid.
Right.
Yeah. So there's 5 new plants coming up. Yeah. Very interesting.
Like I said, I mean, this thing you have to be like on top of it every day and catch up all the time because there's like so many things actually happening. Okay.
So one other thing that I want to mention about mezcal is the best mezcal, you should look for the ones that are helping the people, helping the land, doing something good. We, Casa Amaras, we work with organizations like WWF to eliminate the deforestation. And because we have a replantation program, we are helping the land, we're helping the ecosystem. We take care, we're making sure that we take care of the bats. The bats have a huge role in the picking the seeds and replanting or repropagating the seeds. So we take care of them. So we're very humane in our company as well.
And this is protecting Mother Earth. I mean,
Yes.
this is the most important because of Mother Earth, we have the
We're doing
pleasure
this.
to try this. If we don't take care of it, that's it.
Yeah.
We're done.
So people take care of the land, take care of the people. They'll make good product for us to continue working and drinking and having a good time.
That's correct.
And having a job. So
Yeah, there we go. Let me see. Where do I have my skewers? Production, where's my skewers?
I don't know.
found it.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I know that I make it as a margarita, but for me, honestly, it's always better to enjoy this one in particular without ice to be diluted. So I like to have it as a martini.
Ooh, salud. Look at how beautiful that looks.
So very simple: lime juice, agave nectar, cucumber. Obviously, I didn't do the water, but I mean the modeling is more than enough to get actually the flavors of the actual skin of the cucumber, and that is just delicious. It's just delicious, like you said. I mean, it's just like made to be. They were so good. Perfect.
Yeah, the citrus, the sweetness is delicious.
Yeah.
Very
And
refreshing.
for anybody that actually wants to try just a little bit a variation of this thing, just go for the little bit of the rim of the salt and chili. And, gotcha. We're going to have to wrap it up.
All right,
We're
perfect.
running out of these things. So anyway, this is the Cupreta Cucumber Martini. Check out the videos. If you happen to check also Casa Amaras, I believe that they uploaded for the Mezcalita Day. The Margarita Day. And it was a Mezcalita. So we're going to jump to the last one. And this is for my friend from Origen Raiz del Espíritu, Bildos Arabia, allá en Durango. Saludos a la familia, su mamá, su papá. Cheers, guys. Thank you so much for the bottle. We really appreciate that. This is another Durango. This is another Cenizo Agave. And this is Major Leagues. This guy, he goes to 40 what?
I think that is 48.
48%. So this is, you have a shot of this thing and you grill this thing. You have the second shot and you start getting the gray hair. No, just kidding. It tends to be, it's strong. This is strong, and this is for people that they have been drinking these cocktails for over quite some time, and they just go for something a little bit more. Ooh.
But yeah, I mean, even though it is 48, it's still very smooth. There's still a little like sweetness to it. But I wouldn't. This would not be my first choice to like entry level mezcal drinker. I would not.
It can be rough.
Yeah.
It can be rough. I mean, and it can be very
abrasive.
It will be abrasive, and like I said, I mean, for a lady to have this, it would be like,
yeah,
probably
no, this
just like fell and knocked out. You know,
this would be too much.
But that doesn't mean that it's a bad mezcal. I'll say opposite. I mean, the higher graduation makes it a really good and outstanding product. It's just you need to get to this level to enjoy this type of mezcal, so you need to educate yourself and basically taste different mezcals with the different graduations, different flavors, different agaves, different regions, because it's just like the wine. The difference the terroir is, the difference of the altitude is, the weather it is, the mezcal is affected by all these things.
Yeah.
And
but when you taste it, there's still that tingly in the tongue from like the higher proof. You know, like it's.
yeah.
You can tell it's higher proof, but it's still delicious.
I stick with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So out of these two, what you like? I mean, they're great for different. Yeah. All right, then I guess I'll drink the pineapple mule.
Well, Marquitos,
Desahogo.
anything else that we need to say? We need to wrap up. I guess we cover a really extensive area.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you guys think that we're missing something, that we need to talk a little bit more something, let us know. Please send us your questions, send us your comments. Did you like it? You didn't like it? We suck. Okay, we did good.
Send us your insults. We like the insults too.
Ya, en español, cabrones, por
Si
favor.
nos lo van a mentar, mienten.
Pero bien. Chingan, no, es que... No, hágalo bien, cabrón. Se lo va a hacer bien, hágalo bien. So, people, thank you very much for having the time to see us. I really hope that this thing actually worked for all of you. Marco, brother.
Salud.
Madre, cabrón. Marquitos. Gracias, amigo. Thank you so much.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias.
I really appreciate you. He's actually from Orange County. He came all the way down here just to do this thing, and now he's driving back home. So thank you so much. I really
I
appreciate
still
that.
gotta have dinner. You cannot come to San Diego and not have Mexican food.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. Thank you so much, Casa Amaras, for providing us, this amazing product. Thank you so much for being sustainable and just taking care of Mother Earth. Thank you all of you at home. Thank you, para home, for letting us use mi barra, the House of Rock en español, Negrito, Producción, La Güera. Thank you, everybody, and you have a fantastic night. And we'll see you Friday, Negrito?
Yes.
Fridays and Saturdays. We open doors at
7
o'clock. Please stop by here. Mi barra, La Casa del Rock en español. We have music, live music, and there's actually a lot of parking, and there's always it's been a beautiful, beautiful location here in the heart of Chula Vista. Thank you, Marcos.
Salud.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Salud,
you.
everyone. Don't
Cheers.
drink and drive, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
There you go.
Salud, mijo.
Cheers.
Thank you, cabrón.